Gets this. You know how people want oversight on police? Well, as soon as they get it, they get rid of them, right? So here's in Boulder, the city council voted to remove a member from the police oversight panel, the latest flashpoint in a dispute that has dominated Boulder headlines for months. The decision was seen by some as a rebuff to the community organizations that helped appoint the member, and it may prompt a lawsuit against the city. Council members voted 5-2 to approve a recommendation by a special counsel to remove Lisa Sweeney-Miran from the panel due to her outspoken advocacy for police reform.
Conflict of interest.
They don't want people outspoken on police reform to be on the police oversight board. And her involvement in a lawsuit against the city's police chief seeking to overturn the city's camping ban. The recommendation was based in part on a provision in city code prohibiting anyone with a real or perceived bias, prejudice, or conflict of interest from serving on the panel. The 11-member police oversight panel reviews internal investigations. So you have to have someone who doesn't have a prejudice or a conflict of interest against police brutality?
Real or
What?
perceived. Just
Or perceived.
If they perceived. You know how like when that happens with cops, they immediately get them right off the force.
Right. The 11-member police oversight panel reviews internal investigations in the cases of alleged officer misconduct and makes disciplinary recommendations to the city's chief. In casting their votes to remove Sweeney-Miran, who was appointed in January 2023, some council members said they did so to ensure public trust in the panel's work. Several supported her appointment and said she was fit to serve. Some even consider her a friend.
Yeah, I'm sure the people there were like, hey, they being too hard on those cops at the Overwatch.
Yeah, Oversight Committee. I support the panel's work wholeheartedly, and it is critically important that they have the clean slate from which to do the work and have that work be trusted and validated, said a council member who voted for Sweeney-Miran's removal. This is a tough one.
What, was she stopping and frisking them?
Right. Council member Rachel Friend also voted for her removal. She said if Sweeney-Miran were to stay on, it would threaten the legal sustainability of the panel's work. If officers were disciplined based on the recommendations of a panel that included Sweeney-Miran, she said, they would likely appeal and have pretty strong evidence for reversal. We are mired in the politicization of these appointments, Friend said. The Boulder City Council created the Police Oversight Panel in 2020, the year after a police officer drew his gun on a black college student. Council members sought with its creation to give historically excluded communities a greater role in civilian oversight. Council member Lauren Fulkert suggested that the special counsel, Clay Douglas, a former city attorney, lacked sufficient knowledge of the history surrounding the panel's creation when he made the recommendation to remove Sweeney-Miran. Everyone has biases, and acknowledging our biases is important for accountability and working towards justice, she said. Fulkerts added, we must consider the chilling effect on free speech of any potential actions. I question not only who will be left to speak, but what they will feel comfortable saying. Exactly. So now you're firing, they're getting that lady off the panel. So now no one else is going to feel comfortable speaking out, or else they know they're going to get 86th. In a letter to city council members this week, Ariel Amoro, one of the founding members of the panel whose term ended earlier this year, said the situation involving Sweeney-Miran is distracting the panel from doing its work. I worry that this conflict could spell the end of the panel. I hope that this conflict doesn't make us forget that the core of the panel's work is good work. In January 2023, about a week before council members approved a new slate of panelists in Boulder, a Boulder resident, John Nesledge, lodged a code of conduct complaint alleging the committee set up to nominate new members to the panel violated the city code due to Sweeney-Miran's obvious bias against police. So you want to have people who want to serve on a police oversight board, but they don't really have any feelings one way or the other on police.
Well, that's
what you're trying to get. Those people don't exist.
I'll bet you that's a thing with camping, and he's got some real estate concerns or something. Obviously,
yes,
it was because the big issue is about the camping. They probably have people camping all over the place.
I bet,
and they're not going to build housing or something in Boulder, right?
The selection committee included representatives from the NAACP, El Centro Amistad, and two members of the Police Oversight Committee. Neslage, who is helping residents gather signatures for a ballot measure that aims to put pressure on the city to clear out encampments of homeless people near schools, pointed to social media posts made by Sweeney-Miran's critical of policing. Residents opposing her appointment have also cited her previous involvement in the lawsuit over the camping ban, which allows officers to ticket homeless people for sleeping in public spaces.
What are you, just providing them toilet paper? Why would you ticket them? They're going to pay it?
That seems funny, to ticket homeless people, but why don't the cops just take the homeless person to a homeless shelter? Like, that would be, and then so they're not allowed to camp in front of someone's business or next to someone's home who has little kids and it scares them, or next to they're, you know what I mean? I understand why people are against camping in cities.
Yeah. Well, what if we saved a few bucks by saying the cops can run them off with billy clubs just this once? I don't care where they go, and I don't want to be bothered.
But we gotta. Why can't? Of course, we can provide housing for these people, but we just don't. And now that they're the most mentally ill and drug addicted are camping in the cities. So there's lots of people who have jobs who are homeless, but they're not camping. But it seems like the most mentally ill, the people who are most need help, are the ones camping. And do you want mentally ill drug addicts camping outside your house? No one wants that. Mentally ill. There's right down the street now, right down the hill here, Kurt. There's been a guy camping out right next to someone's house, just right before you get to Ventura.
Yeah, right.
And
it's a heartbreaker.
It's a heartbreaker. It's like, first of all, they should have someone come and give that guy a home immediately, because we have the resources to do it. And I'm sure the guy needs drug counseling, and I'm sure the guy needs mental health. He needs to get on medication. He needs to see a doctor. I'm sure all that stuff.
How different is this from the Depression, those pictures you'd see,
right?
Where they got tin shacks? Because I've downtown LA, I mean, it doesn't look as nice as those Depression pictures.
I know.
Is this not a Depression? What is happening?
So, instead of coming out for camping, how about you come out for getting these people housing? That would be the humane thing to do, because having them camp on a sidewalk is not humane.
Yeah, right. It's not.
All it does is add misery to everybody in the city. It's not humane. Humane would be to give those people housing and give those people health care and give those people mental health care. Sweeney-Miran is also a member of the Boulder Valley School District School Board and has advocated for removing police officers from schools. I'm for that also. She runs Mother's House, a homeless shelter in Boulder. Douglas, the special counsel appointed by council members, investigated the complaint, as well as several other complaints related to the appointment process. He determined that the selection committee failed to adequately evaluate the candidates for bias, and that Sweeney-Miran could undermine public trust in an effectiveness of the police. So again, that's bullshit. That's just bullshit. You're trying to get a police oversight committee, but you only want to stock it with people who only have positive feelings towards the cops.
It's not effective if you're really giving them a lot of oversight.
To address the issue, he recommended she resign or be removed by the city council members. Leading up to last night's vote, her lawyer, Dan Williams, told council members he does not believe the city council has the authority to remove a member from the police oversight panel. In a joint statement after the vote, they hinted at legal action. After the vote, the groups that helped nominate her were outraged by the city council's action, saying that they misused their power. I don't think police oversight panel is done. This has far-reaching consequences and sets a terrible precedent. Ana Corina Casa Ibarra, that's a nice name, who represented El Centro Amistad on the selection committee, expressed grave disappointment. It's heartbreaking to see the vote of some of the council members who I thought supported our community. It's always turns out this way for our community. We are used to it. She said that she lives in North Boulder and frequently sees police in her neighborhood. She said her husband was recently stopped by police while walking their dog. And you can't get a cop to come when there's someone breaking into your goddamn house. She was considering seeking a spot on the police oversight panel one day, But seeing what is happening, what is the point? Look at what they did to this white woman from Boulder. Think about what they would do to me. Exactly right. We're never going to get oversight of our cops in this country. They have qualified immunity. The cops dictate to the people how they're going to police their city instead of the other way around. And yeah, what else? What else is
they
new?
have the important job of being the tip of the spear of all the bad decisions made by the people on top.
Yeah.
And you got to give them a lot of leeway because we sure as hell ain't fixing none of them problems.
We ain't fixing them.
We're just going to hammer down the little loose ends.
We could fix this homeless problem. You open up mental health facilities, you open up drug facilities. That creates jobs, not only in the construction, but then in the staffing. And the government pays for those people. We've got the money. We're sending trillions of dollars all over the world, and we won't send a couple of $1 billion to our own country to help fix homelessness. And we can do it. It can be done. Check out my new stand-up special, COVID Lies Are Funny, at jimmydore.com. Only $10. Become a premium member. We're going to be on tour in Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, California, Baltimore, Maryland, and San Francisco, California. Plus, did we say Chicago? There's lots of stuff. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. See you there.